Well, after being shamed by my classmate and peeping on by another classmate, or peeped on, I returned to my bedroom once more. I immediately threw myself on the bed and closed my eyes, trying to focus on, well, the positive aspects of my life. Dawn made significant progress. Nak-chan now has the motivation she needed, and Estelle is working on her assignment, albeit secretly. They may not be progressing as quickly or seamlessly as I'd like, but at least those three seem to be on the right track. Let's move the mouse up here. Even if whipping them into shape, as Uncle put it, is beyond me, a few more days like today might just be enough to make this work. I don't know why Uncle left those three to me, but since he did, I'll make sure to reform them to the best of my abilities. Although I confidently declared to myself that I would reform the girls, and that things were going well, there remained one big concern. Artwork aside, Uncle really did hang me out to dry with those three. A Gyaru who sleeps all day, a manga-obsessed girl who refers to herself by a cutesy name and the third person, and a shy pervert who peeps on literally everything. With everything that's happened today, getting those three to complete their assignments might be the least of my worries. Ooh! Yes, daytime. Beginning the day with a walk into town, I headed to the local grocery store before even setting foot in the classroom. On my first day in town, I didn't eat a thing. On my second day, I was too busy to think about food, so I've literally gone 3 days or 2 days without eating. So today, before the insane trio of art students could steal my time away, I began to hunt my groceries. I should probably buy some real food for the girls too. They can't be expected to survive off unhealthy snacks. Maybe I could start bribing them with real food, like steak. Yeah, that'll do. Surely they aren't surviving off snacks because they want to. As I contemplated what food to buy, I realized that my goal might not be so achieved so easily. Located in the middle of literally nowhere, there were few crops to speak of in the surrounding area. Some nourishment could be likely found in the mountains, and the ocean was ripe for fishing, but as far as the usual staples in my diet were concerned, I was screwed. Come to think of it, what does Uncle usually do about food? Does he stockpile foods with limit expiration dates? Could he have a garden that I don't know about? If I'm going to be staying here to take my uncle's class, I can't be surviving off nothing but junk food and fish. Oh, I'd straight up die. I wandered farther into town as questions began to bog me down. While I was in the vicinity of those three problem children, I didn't have the freedom to think about topics unrelated to work. I mean, I don't know why I referred them to children. I mean, I guess they can be acting like children sometimes, but whatever. Now that I had been momentarily freed, however, my empty stomach dominated my thoughts. I guess I'll just have to wait and see. Either this town has real food or it doesn't. Thinking about it won't change a thing. Besides, if I don't focus on getting those three girls to complete their assignments, food will be the least of my worries. Why won't my mouse hide? I say it to hide the mouse curse. After walking around town a while, I began to head back to the cabin. In both hands, I was carrying bags filled with groceries, purchased after much deliberation with great hesitation. With only 2 food stores in town, both family-run and lacking in variety, the prices were far higher than the city. Ugh. Furthermore, the stock for perishables was unreasonably low, no doubt coinciding with the small town's equally low demand. As such, although I managed to buy what I was after, I couldn't say I was happy about it. Upon returning to the cabin, I immediately threw my purchases into the refrigerator, freezer, and pantry, because that's what you should do, or else just shit you just bought will go bad. I had bought a few fillets of fish, 1 liter of milk, a few cartons of cereal, oh yeah, and against my better judgment, a dozen or so packets of chips. I get it now, girls, I really do. A long shelf life, low price, and variety of different flavors? Potato chips are not to be underestimated. Oh, there you are, Scott. I was wondering where you'd gone. The moment I finished putting away the food I bought, Knock-John appeared behind me, almost magically. Although it was still early in the morning, she appeared to be wide awake and full of energy, just like always. I couldn't find you in the toilet, the classroom, or your bedroom, so I figured you must have gone out. Wait, yeah, I went to... Wait, what? You couldn't find me, so the first place you look is the toilet? Well, yeah, I mean, you took a whole lot of toilet breaks while you were teaching me yesterday. Oh, but don't worry. I won't tell the others that you have diarrhea. I can't even tell if she's screwing with me or not. I mean, at least she maybe may or may not know that I was furiously masturbating all day. Nakchan, I don't have diarrhea. And even if I did, my stomach is empty, so it's not like anything would come out. I see. Then why were you going to the toilet so often? Bladder infection? Yep, she's definitely screwing with me. Let's just forget about that right now. More importantly, while you three were sleeping, I was out buying groceries, being productive. I bought fish, milk, and cereal, and potato chips. But she doesn't need to know that. Eh? Fish, cereal, and milk? I've never tried fish milk before. Is it tasty? Oh my fucking god. Classroom, sketching, now. That's the plan. Nakchan laughed off my obvious irritation and took a few steps towards the door. I was going to ask you to watch me work before the other two woke up. I realize that you can't play favorites, so I thought early in the morning would be my best chance. Freed from my irritation from moments ago, my eyes opened wide as I stared at Nakchan. While I wouldn't have been surprised if she'd asked me for guidance regarding her manga, I hadn't really expected her to seek my help with her assignment. We had only just met, and my tutelage was restricted to correcting her manga style. Did she really think so highly of me that alone? From that? Jeez. I must say, it does feel good to be relied on like this. Although a few people asked me for my help back in college, they were just trying to get me to do their work for them. And fuck that. They didn't think of my work as anything special, nor did they praise or thank me. So to have someone whom I've only just met ask me for guidance like this? Yeah, I figure if we start working on my manga first thing in the morning, there'll be still plenty of time for work on your damn assignment! Okay, God! There's no need to yell. I exhaled angrily as Nakchan hurriedly left my sight. So she was talking about her manga after all. I was a fool to think that she'd ask my help with sketching or painting. Nakchan might just be more hopeless than a case than Estelle. Nah, I'm gonna guess no. She just likes manga, dude. Like, I'm giving that problem. Giving myself some time to calm down, I wasted no time before gorging myself on cereal. Literally 15 bowls. Aw. 2 days with little or no food had made me famished, and I easily finished off 2 bowls without realizing it. If not for my sublime self-control and the insane cost of milk around here, I'd definitely have finished off another. That's so much better. A good night's sleep and a full stomach really do make all the difference. I brought my bowl to the sink and stretched my arms. With breakfast out of the way, it's time to get to work. It may feel a bit early, but with a deadline as close as ours, we can't really afford to slack off. With that being the case, I need to figure out how to manage all 3 of these girls at once. Dawn needs solitude to work, and she can't be expected to bring paint into the room in which she sleeps. I'll need to find some way to give her alone time in the classroom without hindering the others. Then there's Nakchan. She's slower and definitely further behind, but she ought to be okay. Maybe. As long as I can keep her focused. I think Nakchan will finish her painting before the due date. Yeah, I think that just leaves Estelle. I walked over to Estelle's room to check on her. Pushing the door open just slightly, I could see her angelic sleeping figure, unblemished by her usual attitude. Still asleep, huh? Not that I can blame her. I was actually a little surprised to see that Nakchan was awake this early, so it would be strange to see Estelle up and about. Although my goal was to get the girls to finish their assignments, I let go of any sense of urgency as I set my eyes on Estelle, because apparently all I do is peep on Estelle. Without her makeup on, she was really quite pleasant to look at. Furthermore, if I actually did wake her up, I'd have to put up with her attitude. So as far as I'm concerned, at least for the time being, she could sleep the day away. Alright, that's 2 girls accounted for. Where's the other one? Nakchan is in the classroom, hopefully working on her assignment, and Estelle is getting her beauty sleep. That just leaves... I walk further down the hall towards Dawn's room. Oh no. No. I had no idea if she would be awake or not. She might be sleeping soundly, sketching in her room, or maybe even in the classroom already. I don't know. I ain't no rocket scientist. At any rate, I had confirmed the status of the other two girls, so I just had one little stop to make before I headed to the classroom myself. Dawn, are you awake yet? Hey, Dawn. I knocked on Dawn's door and waited for a response. Given Dawn's shy nature, however, I realized that even if she is awake, she might not speak up. Oh, please don't. Put simply, knocking was useless. Dawn, I'm coming in. This is gonna be like every other anime. We're walking in. I waited a few seconds for a response, but still heard nothing. Oh well, if she is getting dressed, she can't say I didn't warn her. I slowly opened the door to Dawn's bedroom, and inside of it I saw nothing. Oh, well, God, that threw me for a curveball. I guess she isn't in her room either. That's probably for the best. I didn't want to intrude on her. I guess I'll go see if she's in the classroom with Nakchan. I started walking back down the hallway toward the front door. With two of the three students likely in the classroom already, I couldn't afford to dawdle, nor could I... oh no. Huh? I turned from side to side as a strange sound reached my ears. Something resembling a girl's weakly penetrate. Wait, a girl's voice weakly penetrated. Holy shit, brain. The wall, coming from an unclear direction. Was that Estelle? Is she moaning in her sleep? Curious, I returned to Estelle's room. She hadn't moved an inch from when I visited her mere moments ago, nor did she seem to be having a particularly stimulating dream. Maybe it wasn't Estelle after all. Dude, you probably know what's gonna go on now. I could have just been hearing things, or perhaps Estelle did moan, then calm back down. Either way, it's not like it matters. Who cares if... While I was staring directly at Estelle, another moan reached my ears. Although I still could not pin the exact direction of the sound, I successfully ruled out Estelle, leaving me with just one candidate. Dawn isn't in her room, and Estelle is asleep, so that just leaves Nakchan. I thought she had gone to the classroom, but apparently I was wrong. She must have slipped past me while I was in Dawn's room. I brought my hand to the door of Nakchan's room and slowly turned the knob, careful not to make a sound. I'll teach you to slack off when my future's at stake. While you're busy drawing your manga and making your own sound effects, I'm gonna scare the shit out of you. The door to Nakchan's room silently opened, inch by inch. After a few moments, I could see the figure of a girl hunched over on the floor. Drawing manga on the floor, huh? Well, that's just fine by me. Repent as I catch you red-handed. I've got you now, Nakchan. The moment I entered Nakchan's room, expecting to scare her stiff, instead I found myself unable to move. Sitting on the floor was not Nakchan. She was not hunched over while scribbling her manga. The girl in front of me was Dawn. Dawn? I approached Dawn with a great deal of hesitation. Rather than say I was weirded out by the situation at hand, it would be more accurate to say that I had no idea what to do. Never in my life had I encountered a situation even remotely similar to this one, nor did I ever expect to. In front of my eyes, kneeling on the floor with another girl's panties in her hands, was a young girl with a look of amazement on her face. Dawn? Hello? Completely in a world of her own, Dawn didn't hear a word I said. Unabated, she continued to stare at the panties in her hands, occasionally bringing them closer and lightly sniffing them. Is Dawn doing what I think she's doing? Grinding her hips together, Dawn fixated on the cloth in her hands. Aside from heavy breathing and the occasional moan, she didn't say anything, nor did she appear to be aware of my presence. Hey, Dawn, what are you doing? Though compelled to ask, I already had a good idea what she was doing. Usually I wouldn't think anything of Dawn holding a pair of panties. She might be doing the laundry, getting changed, sorting her clothes, or a number of things. But there's one problem. She's not in her room. This is Nakchan's room. And they weren't her panties. We were in Nakchan's bedroom, and Dawn was sniffing another girl's panties while grinding her hips together. Dawn really was a pervert. Jesus. I have to admit, this is kind of sexy. I'd never have the guts to do something like that, and certainly wasn't expecting to see one of the other girls do it. I'm not sure if I should berate Dawn or pat her on the back. As much as I'd like to take the high road, I knew I was in no position to criticize. I was already painfully erect at the mere sight of what Dawn was doing, 'cause I get easily erect. I can't lecture Dawn while allowing myself to become aroused by her actions. Even so, it's not as though I can just overlook this. Dawn peeped on Estelle and I when each of us was bathing, and now she's masturbating while sniffing Nakchan's panties. One of us needs to say something to her. Nah. I took a step forward, intending to confront Dawn. The moment I tried to do so, however, my erect penis knocked against the door frame, reminding me why I was in no position to lecture her. I can't go in here with my rock-hard dick. Jesus. If I walk in there with an erection, Dawn's going to think that I'm the pervert. She's going to like that shit, though, because it's Dawn. I can already see my uncle throwing me out for sexually harassing one of his students. Then again, stealing my resolve, I pushed the door open. Dawn didn't notice me at first. She stayed in her own little world, obsessing over the cloth in her hands. The moment I placed my hand on her shoulder, however... Halfway through a heavy breath, Dawn quickly threw the panties aside and straightened her back. Acting as if nothing had happened, she rose to her feet and turned to face me, showing no sign of her perversion or lust from moments ago. So that's how a hardcore pervert recovers from when they've been spotted, huh? No. This is no time to be impressed. Doing my best to hide my erection, which was really hard, by the way. Well, I mean hard as in, like, hard to hide. Look. You already know. Which was only now beginning to subside. I stared at Dawn. Dawn, fancy meeting you here. I was just passing by and wondered what you were doing in Nakchan's room. Dawn lowered her gaze without saying a word. Obviously, she wasn't about to admit that what she was really doing, and apparently she didn't have an excuse prepared either. Whatever you were doing, you shouldn't enter someone's room without permission, you know? How would you like it if I entered your room while you were busy working on your assignment and taking your panties? Still failing to utter a single word, Dawn avoided our one-sided conversation to the best of her abilities. This isn't going anywhere. Maybe I should be more blunt about what I saw? I mean... what's wrong with just... I mean, I don't look, I like Dawn. Let's just play around, I guess. Really now, what could you have been doing in another girl's bedroom, I wonder? Were you stealing from Nakchan, perhaps? Should I ask her to check if anything's missing? No, that couldn't be it. An honest girl like you would never steal from your friend. But then what could it be? Itching powder in the underwear drawer, tacks in Nakchan's clothing. Pranks are a great way to pass the time, but don't take it too far. You wouldn't want to hurt your friend, would you? That's not what I was doing. As I came up with another explanation for Dawn's presence, she soon lost her will to fight back. Just kidding, I knew exactly what you were doing. I could hear you moaning from out in the hallway. Look, I don't want to lecture you, and I'm not going to tell the others. Just promise me you won't do it again, okay? Dawn twitched slightly at my offer. Although she didn't respond right away, she had obviously heard me and was no doubt considering what I said. Nonetheless, I can't promise that. Whoa, alright. Surprised by Dawn's honesty, I almost wanted to give her a pass. Despite her secrecy, she was actually quite forthcoming once she had been exposed. Unfortunately, for the sake of the cabin's other residents, I needed to reprimand Dawn and ensure her compliance from that point on. Listen, you're putting me in quite a bind here. You know I can't just let you off, right? Dawn returned to her original position for a moment, then walked back over to my side. She pulled on my wrist and placed something in my palm. Accomplice? I looked down at what Dawn had given me. Oh, god damn it. In my palm were Nakchan's panties, the same pair Dawn had been sniffing moments ago. Dear Lord, I'm not sure if this girl is a genius or an idiot. Dawn, as enticing as an offer this may be, you really can't do that. These don't belong to you. You can't just hand them over to me like this. I understand. Dawn took Nakchan's panties off of me and returned them to the drawer in which she found them. Rather than stop there, however, She then reached under her skirt and finally returned to my side once more. Here. Taking my wrist in her hand yet again, Dawn placed something else in my palm. With far more reluctance than before, she handed over another pair of panties. Well, wait a second. This is still warm and fairly wet. Well, the cloth in my hand had been freshly removed from Dawn's own body. These belong to me, so I can offer them to you. That's what you're getting at, isn't it? Speaking with aggression to mask her embarrassment, Dawn pushed down her skirt as if to stop the non-existent wind from revealing anything more. Dawn just took off her own underwear. Dawn's the greatest character in the world. I said she couldn't give me Nakchan's panties, and that's how she interpreted my statement. Alright, we're accomplices. I ain't gonna fucking fight back. No fighting back. Just, these are my panties now.